Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is October 7th, 2024. Today on the show, we're going to start with October 7th, 2023. We're going to have some pointed things and comments to say because it really does matter. The next thing we're going to talk about is the hurricane, and then we'll go into the markets, which got roughed up a little bit today. But first, if you do not get this radio show in your city, by the way, it's Investor's Edge, serious talk on everything that affects you. And every now and then we'll get, Israel, what does that have to do with the markets? Well, if the world blows up, anyway, everything that affects you, we will do the election, the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, everything that really does matter and really does intertwine into everything that does matter. If you don't get this show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And if you'd like to email me, you just got to be nice. So it's October 7th. It's a year later. And we don't know the numbers exactly, but there's still hostages. And I'm going to say some things you may agree or disagree. Welcome to the world of opinions. It has been very unfortunate in the last year. The movement of lies, the movement brought to you by anti-democratic, anti-United States, anti-Israel scumbags. And, I'm sorry to say, terrorist advocates. Anybody who's marching today against Israel on the 1-year anniversary of what would have been 10 9/11s here can basically go screw. And we use this term tic-tac-toe. You can't win, so you don't play the game. I wouldn't even get into a conversation with these people. I wouldn't even talk to these people. I wouldn't try to convert these people. I wouldn't try to explain to these people. They are dirt in my world. That they would praise terrorists in the name of a lie. My favorite one is Israel deserved it because Israel is an occupier and apartheid. Israel hasn't occupied, has not been in Gaza since 2005. They left it to be. There's not a Jew in there to be found. And the Hamas, they destroyed the place. They stole all the money, but that's all Israel's fault. Apartheid, it's one of the greatest lies I've ever seen in plain sight, that Israel is an apartheid state. Try to find a Jew in some of these Arab states. Do you know how many Arabs and Muslims are in Israel? A ton. The gays, I'm watching gays for Hamas out there. I'm watching gays praise Hamas. And what goes on there, they would be murdered instantly, but no, not true. I'm watching people saying that October 7th was done by the Jews, that it was a setup so Benjamin Netanyahu can keep his power. I'm seeing that. Again, tic-tac-toe. What a shame. My biggest problem is reserved for Joe Biden. And I'd like to say Kamala Harris, but she's just the vice president. Joe Biden. And there's a you got to juggle it a little bit because still sending Israel arms. Still, when it happened, came out and forcefully came out and blasted Hamas and what happened. Still keep saying we're all for Israel, we're backing Israel, backing Israel. What's the problem? It's the word but. I have never seen more statements of backing with more buts, with one T, than Joe Biden in the last year. There were no buts for Black Lives Matter. There were no buts on that Charlottesville thing. Which, by the way, and you know I'm no Trump guy, but go look at the whole video, which they don't talk about. Just another media lie. Everything I do and say is based on what would I do if I was president of the United States. And I got news for you. The frickin' pressure as the leader of the free world I would have been putting on all the Arab states that are around there and the bad guys, them hostages would be back now. And these Hamas people would be scared out of their living wits. But we've got a lot of but-isms. Kamala Harris on 60 Minutes tonight was asking about is Benjamin Netanyahu's an ally. Well, but we're with Israel. Do you believe it? Politically, they don't like the guy. He's too far conservative for them, so maybe he's not the but-isms. I think Joe Biden on Israel sucks, and I say that he's come out, I back Israel, I back Israel, I back Israel. They've also negotiated behind Israel's back with Hamas to the point where Israel's doing things without even letting the U.S. know because they don't trust them to open their mouths. That's how bad it is. Israel is doing exactly what they got to do. These people that did 10/7, they have been murdering Israelis and lobbing rockets into Israel for ages. I told you when I was there. Rockets over my head, Israel never answered. And Israel's had enough. And the number 1 job, number 2 job, number 3 job, number 4 job, number 5 job of a country is defend the citizenry. And when the terrorists hide, you find them. And when the terrorists say there will be 1,000 October 7th, you get them. Just like we got bin Laden and the rest of those scumbags. Don't give them any quarter. This whole negotiation thing, I keep hearing from Biden about how Israel needs to. It's Hamas that doesn't negotiate. They've done this on purpose. It's Hamas that murdered and raped and destroyed and burned and kidnapped. You don't negotiate with those people. You take them out. It's a year and there are still hostages. By the way, I think there's 5 Americans. President Kaltbaum, I would guarantee you those Americans would not be hostage anymore. Happy New Year to those who celebrate. Hurricane Milton is turned into, we segue now, a Cat 5. I am looking on GPS right now how traffic out of Tampa into going north on 75 is bright red. That means traffic up the wazoo. I am here in Lake Mary, Florida, and it is along what you hear is the I-4 corridor. I am approximately 150 miles from where it will hit land. It'll take 150 miles to get to us. The Cat 5 will probably be a Cat 3 once it hits lands, because we hear it's going to get sheer, they say. I expect that Wednesday night through Thursday, we're going to have some serious weather where I'm at, to the tune of 70 to 100 mile an hour gusts, if not wind, lots of rain. I am quite the inland. I am moving my office to a hotel, got 2 adjoining rooms. I am not screwing around. Up next, some words to the wise of anybody listening in the crosshairs. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I really don't know what the schedule will be, but Adam will be on hand if need be. It looks like landfall, looks like north of Tampa now, and nice little right turn. I think where I am, Lake Mary's going to get probably the bottom 30 to 40% of the cone, at least I'm seeing. It's going to be a frickin' doozy. It's moving 9 miles per hour. Damn, I wish it was moving 15. Hopefully it speeds up. And it's going to go out into the ocean. So it's not going to hit a ton of land, but the land it hits, especially on the West Coast, water surge and all that stuff, get the hell out of there. That's what my recommendation is. You all decide. I have been contemplating, actually, either driving way south down to Miami or way north up towards Savannah, Georgia. It wouldn't take me much to do that. Right now we are going into a real nice hotel that I think it's about 6-7 stories, so it's not like 20 stories up. I can tell you, when we got hit by a hurricane a long while ago, we went to the Hyatt Grand Cypress, and the sides of the building were taken, not the structure, but it stripped off the side, so who the hell knows. Thursday, 7 a.m., it's showing it'll be down to hurricane 74 to 110, but it's going to be a doozy all the way the I-4 corridor. If I was in Tampa, I wouldn't be in Tampa. That's all I can tell you. In that surrounding area, by the way. I'm give or taking north and south from there, and from what I see, there's some serious movement of cars to get the hell out of there. That would be the safest move. These hurricanes have no bias. You can be rich or poor. You can be in an apartment or the biggest of mansions, and hurricanes will take you down. We just want you to know that. And low-lying areas with that water surge, how do we know this? You know me by now, right? First off, I've been a bunch of them. I wasn't in Andrew, which came across from east to west. But I lived in Boca, and me and a couple of buddies went down there the day after to help out. It looked like a nuclear bomb went off. So anything is possible, and that is why I'm contemplating just getting the hell out of here. I'm going to decide probably by tomorrow afternoon, and that's that. Let me repeat. These hurricanes don't care about you. Care about your life. Don't worry about your stuff. If you got very important papers or very important whatever, get them locked up in the best way possible. And again, get the hell out of there. They're looking at up to 10 to 12 feet all the way from actually south of Bradenton all the way up to Clearwater. I'm looking at it right now. Actually, they're talking Fort Myers Beach all the way up. Yay. That is your hurricane whatever for today. I think I've been in maybe 7 or 8 of them. We had one year where we had 3 of them. 3 of them came through within... Do you remember that? What was that, 2000 and... I don't even remember. So I'm looking at this right now. Where I'm at, they're saying 75 to 110. Tampa, 110. Port Charlotte, Tampa, all the way around there. Whew. And there's your hurricane report for the day. I'm already getting emails from idiots. Oh, you see, climate change for real. I mean, they're making a point while people may die. Like we haven't had hurricanes before. No, we've never had hurricanes, right? Anyway, Hurricane Milton. We'll be on air tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. We're not sure. Probably Wednesday too. Which has us segueing to Mr. Crappy Market today. We pride ourselves. By the way, I never buy insurance stocks. I bought Berkshire Hathaway. I just got out. Lost 1%. The pure insurance stocks today, I got a couple down 10%. I have a bunch down 5%. Berkshire was 1% drawdown for me, a little more than 1% because it's not totally insurance. But I'm not letting a Cat 5 hurricane and the uncertainty, I can always get back in. That was my Berkshire play. We're pretty darn good at leadership. They were acting really well today versus the market, and then they came after the market late in the day, except for NVIDIA, which is up another $3.50 today, amazingly. But the Dow was down 398, S&P 55. There was just a couple of air pockets on the NASDAQ today. 214, NASDAQ 100, 234. And may I state for the record, there's some big cap tech that just act. Adobe acts terribly. You already knew that. Amazon, very bad day on a downgrade. Microsoft, below the 200-day moving average. Now, we own Meta, the strongest of. It dropped a couple of percent today. We're still up nicely on it. But Microsoft, below the 200-day moving average. Earnings in 15 days. A big wow. Tesla down 9. I hear robo-taxis this week. What have I told you about? I think Elon Musk is one of the smartest people on earth. I just don't see the robo-taxi thing. Is it me? And I know there's areas and flying jets. I know you got some Waymos going on in certain areas. I just don't see them proliferating. I'm never getting in one. You ever think I'm getting into a car with a robot driver? Have you seen the regular drivers? Let alone a robot driver? Not happening. Anyway, that not acting too well. And just I can run the gamut. Very rough day today for leadership. Up next, we'll continue with the markets. Got to talk the China thing again. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. By the way, I have this little report. Insurance names continued to underperform in late trade. Get this, you ready? These are down for the day. 4, 4, 4, 4. Oh, by the way, Travelers is 4.5. That's in the Dow. Almost 5, almost 5, almost 5, 5, 5.5. That's Allstate. 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5. These are down today percentage. 8, 8.9, 9.3, 20, and 23. I'm fortunate I lost 1% and change on Berkshire. And who's to know this is going to be a Cat 5? And let's hope by the time it hits, it's not. Looks like they're saying it's going to be Cat 3. So that's your insurance. Just a rough day, which has me going to something we've been talking about for years. And it's something that has to be watched. How many times have I said to you on this show, watch the 10-year yield, not the Fed? When the Fed prints money, that's when you watch them. When they fall very much behind. But most of the time, they're just, remember what we say here. The economy is us, not them. We're the economy. Them moving a quarter point, half a point, doesn't matter. And for markets, they can move the market for a day or two, but after that, watch the 10-year yield. Last week, we have been saying to you on this show, we're going to need to watch this. And it's a simple reason. It's been a driving force in the market. You can go back to last November. The market bottomed out at the same time the 10-year yield topped out. The 10-year yield was at 5%. Seriously. And then you can go to April of this year where the yields topped out and we had another leg up in the market. And it hasn't been picture perfect yields. But dang, I'm going to guess 75 to 90% of the time. So now we're going to watch very, very closely. And we had a drop because of Japan. That's not yield based. When we rallied up in yields from January, the beginning of this year, the market still kept going up. Because the Fed was done raising their rates, whatever. But now, and by no accident, what did we tell you last week was going to underperform? Interest rate sensitive. What's interest rate sensitive? The utilities, which have been doing pretty well, the REITs, the real estate stocks, the housing and housing related, the mortgages, Rocket Mortgage, things like that, Zillow, real estate. And guess what's happened over the last week to 10 days? They've been coming after the interest rate sensitive stuff. Not all, but a lot of it. And I just noticed today they really cracked a bunch of utility names and some real estate stocks. Not to mention, they're cracking now junk bonds. I don't know exactly what that means, but we'll see. And now with interest rates going higher, by the way, 4.026. We have gone from 3.6 on the 10-year. That was September 17th to 4.026. And I feel like I have to do this again to explain, because I know what you're hearing. The Fed's lowering rates. What is this rates going up? But with the Fed lowering rates, well, what gives? How can that be? The Fed controls the short-term rates, the Fed funds rates, your money markets, and a little bit on the adjustable loans and things like that. Unless the Fed is printing money and buying up bonds, they have no control of that. The bond market is the free market. Remember what we said, the Fed manipulated and rigged by printing to $9 trillion. They're not doing that anymore. So all of a sudden, the Fed is lowering rates. The long bond rates are going higher. What gives? And what we had said to you, well, they were seen as inflation fighters. Hey, we're staying tight. We're not lowering rates. We're not doing this. Don't worry about it. But guess what? Now that they're not seen as fighting inflation anymore, what do bondholders do? They sell. The perception. And if they sell, yields go higher. And that's what you are seeing. Simple as that. And what affects markets a lot? That 10-year yield. And as I said, not 100%, but a good portion of it. And now we're up again today, and that is something to watch big time as we move forward. And of course today, not a friendly day when all was said and done. The insurance stocks, that's hurricane related. Everything else, not so. And may I state for the record, they went after retail today, possibly because of that. And other sundry areas that are of import. And when I say retail, most. So stay tuned. Getting interesting. Don't want to get all dire. Leading stock still leading. Though they pulled some of mine in today, how dare they? They got nerve. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. And that's the story. We even told you what we sold. We try to be careful about that. And no, that's not a bet against Buffett. It's just that we're looking for launching pads and uptrends. And if the launching pad doesn't work or deemed not to, we take action. And with a hurricane coming, we don't want small hurricane, no biggie. Well, biggie, but no biggie. This one, there be some potential in it. Okay. October 7th. The hurricane. The markets. A lot going on. We're going to lay off the election today, except Kamala Harris is doing a bunch of interviews with buddies. We have offered now $250,000 to our favorite charity for me to do an interview with her. I have yet to hear back, which I won't hear back. And the reason why is, A, you can't handle the questions. We have reached out to the Trumps. No answer. Trump would not be able to answer my questions either, because we would hold the powerful to account, respectfully. But we have a very important election coming up, And there's some doozies of proposals out there from both. Proposals I completely disagree with. From both. Both talk a big game about people. And then I keep hearing what they're going to do. And 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 we're trying to tell you, between Trump and Biden-Harris, how much debt have they added to the system without COVID? Just that. You do know that matters. You do know that's important, right? And I know you love Trump. These are the reasons why. Others, hey, we're with Harris, even though I don't know what the hell she is. And that was not a religious or gender or anything else comment. It was based on policy. Before you email me. 1 month after tomorrow, the election. I stand by it, unfortunately. The Ebola virus versus the bubonic plague. But whoever wins, I will back 100%. I will try to put my 2 cents in. I got connections. Doubt they'd listen. Up next, what else we got for you? On this day, I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Let me just put a bow tie on something I said earlier on Biden and Israel. In case you don't know, there's diplomacy in the room and there's a diplomacy out loud. It nauseates the living crap out of me that he had Schumer go out and blast Netanyahu of Israel about how he should step down. And then finally Biden came out because he wimped out by putting Schumer out there and would not back him. All out of politics, nothing more. And I'll never forgive him. There's plenty of policy proposals I can't stand about Biden. I think he's terrible. But the big story is he let Israel hung out to dry. And now Kamala Harris, in an interview with 60 Minutes, I think that's tonight, Netanyahu out to dry also. The leader of Israel, the defender of Israel. And I can't tell you how much that pisses me off. All because he's not his kind of politician. It has nothing to do with anything else. And the media, unforgivable. They actually asked the parents of a hostage today on blaming Israel for what happened a year ago today. And Netanyahu. That was the Today Show. They suck. I can't begin to tell you how badly. I can understand how pissed off Trump is and what they do to him on a daily basis. I get it. But some is earned, some isn't. A lot isn't, actually. While they kiss the behind of the other side. And it's sickening. Look no further that the lefties go on Howard Stern now for interviews. A man who did blackface and used the N-word. Oh, he's excused. And you know what else he's done on that show as far as women are concerned? But he's excused. Let's go sit with him because he's the glitterati. And you wonder why the other side gets so PO'd? We got to segue again because I forgot something very important that happened today also. Along with yields going up, and this is important. Oil prices up another almost $3 today. They've gone up about 15% in 5 days. Oil stocks better. You know, we've been saying avoid oil stocks, most of them except a certain few. And we've been telling you Exxon's the best of the biggies. That's at a new yearly high. What's with the oil? Is Israel going to take out some oil tankers or whatever Iran's got going out there? You restrict supply, price goes up. Simple as that. I have no clue whether Israel's going to do that or not. But you have a little 1-2 punch this second. Oil prices and the 10-year yield. So stay tuned. We've rode up the S&P about 80% of the move from last November. Twice we sold when it told us to. As of this second, it has not given us a sell signal. We suspect a break below 564, which is the last little breakout, would get us thinking. A big sell breaking below 555 on the SPY, by the way. You know, let me take that back. Not a big sell, but a. But that's for another day. We already got some emails on NVIDIA today because we had mentioned we picked it up off the 50-day moving average. Almost broke above range today. That 131 and change. But pulled in because of the market. Definitely has relative strength here. For whatever reason. And of course the CEO said demand was insane last week. We'll see. The China stocks, they started slow today and finished okay again. Let me repeat again, though. They are the redwood trees with the Eiffel Tower on top, with the Seattle Space Needle on top of the Eiffel Tower. That's how stretched and extended to the upside on the near-term basis, most of it on gaps overnight. On a daily basis, I am agnostic because I don't know about the next day. The normality would be a 10% pullback in the next weeks ahead for potential entry. But there's no normality when you have a government going all in because the government knows they got issues there and they want to stay popular. Remember, this is about popularity. This is about keeping your power. So they are unleashing. In some cases, a lot more than Powell ever did during COVID. we'll see where it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll have a great evening. Hope I didn't rub anybody the wrong way today. We just care and mean business. Tomorrow, actually, I'm not even sure about TV tomorrow. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. If you're in the way of that hurricane, you know what we think. Peace out, all. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.